So as the guests of Compassion, I'm heading to Indonesia with my son Riley. We're in a bunch of Christian pastors and folks who are interested to discover more of the work of Compassion in Indonesia. We're going to see projects and the difference that it's making in communities and in the lives of families and of children. And I think it's going to be an adventure that is going to leave us not quite the same as the people who jumped on the plane in Sydney. I describe my my job. I've got a few descriptions for it. I will say I make a living out of what I used to get in trouble for at school. I like saying I make things up for a living. You know, I articulate scriptural truths in music and in performance, and so that's something I do. But I also, I write songs with country artists as well, and in my own right, I have my own sort of creative world that's as a songwriter.
As a 16-year-old, some of the biggest dramas we face are just the feeling to be accepted. When I leave school, I'm thinking of going into journalism. I feel like that'd be a good job to do, and it has a little bit of creativity in there.
This is secret family recipe.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Forgot the sugar.
Yes, obviously you need sugar because there's barely any sugar in here. My association with Compassion came about just naturally because we were sponsoring first one little guy from the Philippines, Chris, and then Charlotte, who's from Ghana. And, these two kids have been part of the fabric of our prayers and our letter writing, over quite some time. I'm not sure whether I was putting two and two together or Compassion as an organisation said, look, Colin would be a good fit for us because, he connects to a lot of young people and, families, kids. And I think that's where we hatched the thought that it would be great to go to the field.
I'm nervous about seeing how poor people are over there in Manado, Indonesia. It'll just be a really confronting time, I think.
Taking Riley with me, I think, at age 16 to just plunge out of all this into over there. His cement's a little wetter than my cement, so I think that's a really wonderful chance for him to be worked on by something that's really, I think, potentially quite profound.
I hope it'll be a very positive time, even though we're in a poor country. It'll just be a positive time between me and him.
Life's a moving vehicle, and my time with Riley is going to change, and so to be able to head off on an adventure together at this stage of his life, we'll both look back on this as a precious opportunity, and I know we'll be playing bits of this later back in our minds because it's going to happen quick. What is the first essential thing that you must do when you get to a hotel room, no matter where you are in the world, Riley?
Consume all the food.
Hence the absence of chocolate bar. But what have you noticed about arriving here?
It just seems, a little bit more run down, all the houses and just everything seems old, and almost every tin roof is rusty and just, yeah.
You realise that we've driven past all these places that look so different to home, and that over the next few days we get to walk through the gates. Father and son adventure shall begin soon. It's really our first proper day of the trip, and we're heading out to one of the Compassion projects. As we wound our way through the streets, you're never quite sure what it's going to look like because it's in the fabric of communities that the project sit. It's really delightful to walk in through the doors of a church. to hear children singing and singing so heartily and joyfully and dancing and in a way that's so nicely connected to their culture. It was really wonderful. They're waiting for you. They've never met you before. Westerners walk in and they've rehearsed up, they've practiced. This is a big deal. They're performing for people from another country. And they do it beautifully. That's just magnificent. Their dances and their moves. And then I sit down with the kids and did a couple of moves for them. And suddenly they're kids. You know, like they're not just putting on performance that they want to be right. I don't know how me doing a couple of copying their movements in their dance. I don't know why that was so funny to them, because I wasn't trying to, mock them or anything. I was just emulating them. They thought it was hilarious, and suddenly we're all dancing. And I just love how that happens so spontaneously, and it set a beautiful tone for the afternoon. We do it. Let's go. So after that really special presentation, we get to go out the back, and there's a couple of old schoolhouses that the Compassion Project have been able to use. So they run an after-school program where the sponsored kids come and they learn about hygiene and self-esteem and goal setting, and it's all from a biblical perspective, the things that will help them to build a really solid future.
We have also the Indonesian verse.
Yeah. This is that one?
Tahu lagu hari menurut.
Wait a minute, there we go.
Sama-sama bareng menyanyi nih.
This is the day that the Lord has made, We will rejoice and be glad in it, For this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Yay! That's good.
The children here are just delightful. They just have smiles on their faces, and just when they're singing, and when we joined in, they were like, "Oh yeah."
We had this amazing opportunity to visit the home of one of the kids who is involved in the program, a little boy called Aldo.
His father name is Johannes Paulus Manguntu. Johannes, just call him Mr. Johannes. Their income for each month about 250,000 rupiah for each month. From the very beginning of the projects, he has been registered. His favorite subject is math.
What does Mr. Johannes farm?
Okay, he's a labor farmer, coconut climber or something.
Oh,
Yes.
it's very dangerous work.
Yeah.
Has he ever hurt himself?
The only job he has.
Yeah.
So even it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So
He's
he has
never
to face
hurt-
it.
he's never
There's
hurt
not a
him.
choice.
Yeah, but he's never hurt himself doing that. No?
Apakah Bapak pernah jatuh mungkin atau luka? Never.
Good. Good.
Good climber.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way. We need to pray when we walk underneath coconut trees that Mr. Johannes doesn't drop one on our head.
Jadi orang kerja mau berdoa supaya ketika mau pergi tanpa mau kerja, nyanda ada buah kelapa yang jatuh di kepala. Saya terima kasih.
Oh, puppy.
Anjing.
Can't help thinking our whole house with all the you match them up and you think, well, we have a kitchen, but we don't have to fetch wood, and it's not like this, is it?
Just coming and visiting, I don't think it gives the full picture of what poverty is.
I thought Mr. Johannes is climbing trees that look to me like they're 25, 30 metres tall, and he's doing that without any real safety equipment. And so if something unfortunate happened to him, suddenly there's a family who, where's their savings, where's their backup? It's
No insurance here.
no. People are going about their lives. And from what I can tell, there is a lot of, there's community here, and there's family is important to people, and lives have a certain richness about them. But again, it's on the edge. There's a drop to complete destitution, and there's a wall to opportunity. And so how lovely to sit in this place and hear Aldo say maths is his favourite thing that he does at school, and to think, well, he's been trained and learned, the wall's been pushed down, and then to hear that his life's changing through the input of the project, that he's learning to live a life obedient to Christ, and that he values prayer. Those things are really precious things that I think are building a base that will provide opportunity and diminish the peril somewhat. It's an interesting thing being on a trip in a place like Indonesia, looking at a ministry to children and having your own child with you. And Riley's he still has that playful dimension to, he's 16, he's not 25, so he's played with the kids, and I think that's been very, very special to him. It wouldn't surprise me if that changes the way he serves, maybe, or the part that service plays in his life. Hey Riley, could you give me a hand over here?
Oh, a hand? Yep, here we go. Me and Dad have been going well, we've just been looking out for each other, and it was really fun this Savo just to be with him, strumming his guitar and playing songs. It was really fun. I guess there's a part of him which is, always a bit childish, his comedic side of him, with all these dad jokes. I think it's grown my, understanding that he really wants to see kids come to Christ.
Well, it was really clear there was an awful lot more to see about compassion, but we were told that the coast near Manado is just incredible, has some amazing reefs, and they very kindly booked us onto a boat to take us out, and so we could do some snorkeling. It was incredible.
It was really good to get out and have a little bit of a break. It was so beautiful moving through the glassy water that wasn't even choppy at all, and just cutting through it like a knife with our boat. It was just so beautiful, and the snorkeling itself was really good to see.
I went for a swim in the deep blue sea.
I saw lots of fish and coral, and that was really nice. And yeah, it was just nice to get out there and just have a relaxing time.
Lost sense of direction. There was something in the water.
Well, the snorkeling was incredible. It was just beautiful. But later on in the afternoon, so the wind sort of blew in this batch of litter that had been floating in the water, and it was a reminder that although this world is amazing, God's world is amazing, that it's a fallen world, and we knew that those children living in poverty were just a boat ride away across the water, and that this world is not as God intended it to be.
On the way home, I was just thinking about, just about the children and us being brothers and sisters in Christ with the people here. And I really felt an analogy for that. I imagine having my sister here, in poverty, and me coming overseas and being like, what are you doing here? And wanting to help her heaps. And that's what it's like with these people. They're our brothers and sisters. We don't want them in this situation. We, need to help them.
like a granny. You want to know where we've been? Let me show you. Wait on. Born again. See, Jesus said you must be born again. Well, today we've got the chance to visit another compassion project, and it's always exciting to see a new project. This one, we're looking especially at the CSP, which is the Child Survival Program, where young women who are especially vulnerable, expectant mums, new mums with babies, and a few dads as well, get special support for raising their babies. I thought that people who want to be involved with compassion may be motivated because they feel that their responsibility to care, that they would think that that's the expression. But it struck me after being in the Child Survival Program, people need to think more broadly when they decide perhaps their church is going to be involved, or even them as Christians are going to be involved in compassion. That they're not simply providing physical needs and helping with practical care and sharing their resources, but they're partnering with a local church to bring the gospel into people's lives as well. And that really struck me from the Child Survival Program.
We left the church and went along a road, through the village, and then we reached this house, and this house is really small and it's got a thatched roof, and we go in there and we meet the mother and child. And the mother told us that, this child was actually unexpected.
For her to have a baby in her old age, 42, is a high risk. She heard the child survival programs from the neighbors here. She heard that in the CSP, you got relief for medical, and you got knowledge in the education. They also support giving you small things that you need daily, like bathing equipment. And so because of that, so it encourages her to, I can keep the baby.
Has Mrs. Joyce been encouraged in her faith by being part of the CSP, or how has she been encouraged to follow Jesus?
Ibu, karena kebetulan yang ada di sini, she said she doesn't attend church before because she doesn't have offerings to give to the church. So now she knows that even though she might not have offering, she can attend church. Yeah. Simple one. Yeah.
It's a real privilege to be amongst these communities, and they're all there. They're looking out the window. They see you go past, but they also see what's been done in Jesus' name in their community. This 40-year-old woman having a baby thought it would not go well for her, thought she couldn't go to church because she had no gifts to bring, and it's a humble home. She's getting surprised by love and grace and care from the church, and they're attending church as well.
It was really clear the work that Compassion was doing, because, without Compassion's help, that child may have died, and she might have died if the childbirth didn't go as they planned.
Sorry? Making sure you go to the... we'll go straight to the... Padre! Tom! And you?
will now sing the quietest song in the world.
Ini dorang kata mau menyanyi lagu yang paling tersunyi di dunia.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8. God is great. 7, 6, 5. God's alive. 4, 3, 2, 1. He's the King of everyone. Mighty. God's the mighty, mighty Lord of all. Okay, the echo. We go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off! Well, it's our last day. It's gone so quick, and it's a Sunday, so we're going back to the church that ran the first project that we visited. So we've seen it as a child development centre, and now we get to see it as a gathering of God's people for a Sunday service, and we're going to be part of that service.
With the Lord in the light of His word, what a glory He sheds on our way. While we do His good will, we abide with us still, and with all who will trust and obey. Trust and obey, for there's no other way. Trust and obey.
Well, that's been fun. That is the first time I have been to an Indonesian church service, and they opened the Word of God and they prayed and they sang praises. People sang songs. We prayed, and I was reminded that the Lord has plans for every tribe and tongue and nation, and I tasted some of that today, and heaven is going to be wonderful. And it was exciting too to hear our pastor today pray for the children in the project and for their future as well. So it is a true partnership, compassion, child sponsorship development, and this church here in this little place called Pandu. Yeah. So it's been a wonderful day, and the bus is waiting, so I better go. What did you say?
Let's get out of here.
Hey.
Hey, none of that.
No, Riley, this is you are not. No. This is an expensive, and this is important room, and this is very irresponsible of him. Oh yeah.
I'll put the strepsils.
Here we are gathering all our possessions together. A small proportion of our possessions, we're putting them together, and we've been visited these little homes where the value of their possessions would amount to significantly less than what we're putting in our bags, stuffing it in and heading home. So there's a certain irony. Right. Yeah,
That's the name of
That's
the
a
church.
church.
Yeah.
yeah. Pandu,
Pandu.
Manado. The scrapbook of memories is a precious thing. So at this stage of my life, to have been able to go to Indonesia with Riley and have all the experiences, they're precious things to have in the scrapbook. And I think I probably have just breathed them a little deeper than I might have done if he was 6.
Oh, that's Vito. Love that kid. He was so confident as well. Like, he just came up to us and was like, Riley, what's your name? And I was like, oh, that's cool. I just saw such a joy that just, was through all of them, and they just was so happy, and I was kind of like, whoa, how can you be happy? Like, oh wait, rewind. We have so much, like, why are you happy that you have so little? It's kind of a pride thing and a bit vain as well. It's just like, oh, we seem like we're like better than them. I think that's a big mistake. I definitely would like to sponsor a child when I have, the financial position to do that.
I think I've just thought, well, poverty's, I don't know, it's like the moon, it's sort of out there, and I know it's out there, but I don't know what you do about it. I guess, it's interesting that I was playing a part through just the simple thing, not the vastly costly thing of sponsoring 2 kids. And I've come to see that that's more significant than perhaps I realised. These are real kids who come from a family, and you can write to them and they'll write back to you. That's playing a part in dealing with poverty.